I was halfway through my Saturday coffee when I spotted it, a neon green jungle gym rising smack in the middle of my property. Not tucked near the boundary, not grazing the edge, but firmly anchored in soil I'd legally claimed 3 years prior. Children swung, shouted, and scampered across platforms while a DJ blared Kids Bop at maximum volume. Balloons swayed in the breeze, and a sign proclaimed, "Future site of Maple Grove Community Playground." Beneath a pop-up tent, a woman in a wide-brimmed hat and oversized sunglasses stood with a clipboard and megaphone, bellowing, "Welcome to your new park, neighbors." Two realizations struck me. I'd need a stronger brew, and these people had no idea I was the county land use commissioner. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Daniel Hayes. 3 years ago, I purchased a half-acre lot on the outskirts of Maple Grovia serene, tree-lined retreat with minimal HOA presence and neighbors who kept to themselves. I had no intention of building. I envisioned a weekend escape with a fire pit, a few chairs, and the quiet company of birds. The land was zoned residential but undeveloped, and I'd secured the paperwork meticulously. I'm not merely fastidious, I am a land use commissioner. Zoning regulations are my expertise. That morning, I'd arrived with mulch for planting, only to nearly drop my tools at the site. My lot's frontage was unrecognizable, grass stripped away, replaced by rubber mats, plastic slides, swings, and a wood chip pit sprawling as if it belonged. Snack tables and a porta-potty completed the audacious scene. I parked, jaw tight, and approached the woman orchestrating the chaos. She had a blonde bob, that sun hat, and an air of suburban entitlement. She strode toward me, heels grinding mulch into the ground, and chirped, "Hi, new resident. Isn't it thrilling?" She thrust a flyer at me. Caroline Brooks, HOA president. I bypassed the pleasantries. "What is this?" I gestured at the intrusion. She laughed as if I were slow. "Our new playground. We transformed that neglected lot into something valuable." "That neglected lot is my private property," I replied, deliberate and firm. Her smile didn't waver. "Oh, you're mistaken. The HOA voted it on last year's updated plat map." I nearly scoffed. "Plat maps don't bend to whims. They require filings, surveys, and my office's approval. I purchased this land, pay its taxes, and hold its deed," I stated, maintaining composure. She tooted, "Well, dear, the newsletter's out, ribbon cuttings next weekend. The kids adore it." I stared, half expecting a jest. "You constructed this without authorization?" Caroline shrugged. "It's for the community. You should be grateful it raises your property value." The gall was staggering. I surveyed the site, and the damage exceeded my initial shock. Footings punctured utility lines, a concrete table smothered my planting bed, and trees I'd nurtured were uprooted. Children clambered barefoot while parents sipped lattes under tents, oblivious to their trespass. I inhaled deeply, snapped photos, signs, structures, crowds, and recorded Caroline proclaiming permits unnecessary. "The HOA manages its own land," she declared, unaware of the legal minefield she'd entered. "I'm a man who thrives on bureaucracy, enforces codes, and revels in procedure." She'd used HOA funds to erect an illicit playground on my documented property, sans permits. I didn't confront her. Further patience is my method. I smiled, thanked her, and declined her offered cookies, which sat untouched in my truck. By Sunday, I'd gathered my evidence, my deed, drone footage of my pristine lot from a week earlier, and a dossier of county regulations on unauthorized land use, environmental damage, and financial mismanagement. Caroline had violated enough statutes to dismantle an HOA, and I'd let her incriminate herself. At my office desk on Monday, coffee in hand, I verified my lot's parcel number. No permits existed, not for playgrounds, excavation, or even the porta-potty. No variance, easement, or re-VYEW had been requested. The HOA's last filing was a tree permit 2 years old. This wasn't mere ignorance. It was trespass, fund misuse, and a litany of infractions delivered with a side of snickerdoodles. I bided my time. People like Caroline require more than a reprimand. I wanted the community to witness her unraveling, parents at the ribbon cutting to see who'd sown disorder. On Wednesday, my neighbor, Greg Thompson, a rumor enthusiast, mentioned Caroline's plans for a grand opening. DJ, bounce house, face painting. I nearly choked on my lunch. She was courting exposure. I dispatched my assistant, Sarah Kim Sharp, and discreet as an undercover parks inspector. Clad in khakis and a polo, clipboard in hand, she knocked on Caroline's door. 20 minutes later, she returned with flyers, a phone number, and recordings of Caroline admitting, "The county delays us, so we bypass paperwork," with a conspiratorial wink. She confessed to diverting miscellaneous HOA funds without a vote. Too simple. Then, at the event, a child fractured his arm on an uninspected climbing wall. No waivers, no medics. An ambulance arrived, parents live-streamed, and comments oscillated. Great idea. Is this legal? Caroline deepened her own grave. On Friday, an HOA envelope arrived, addressed to Daniel Hayes, non-resident parcel occupier. A typo-laden cease and desist barred me from disrupting common recreational grounds and threatened action if I set foot on my own land. I laughed until Breathless Thied threatened the county land use commissioner with EVY tie-in. I scanned it, logged it, and forwarded it to legal, then called Mark Reynolds from code enforcement, cashing in a favor. Saturday unfolded like a climax. County trucks rolled in code enforcement, parks, utilities, a patrol car for trespass, and a red bulldozer for impact. Caroline was mid-speech at an HOA breakfast when we arrived. Her forced cheer morphed into panic. I stepped forward, badged by Cybele, flanked by Sarah and inspectors. "Good morning," I said evenly. "Here to evaluate an illegal structure on private property." Caroline charged, arms waving. "You can't storm in his HOA land." Sarah countered, "No, ma'am. This is Mr. Hayes's. He didn't authorize this. You've breached codes 43.5, 17.2, 19.1. She handed over citations. Caroline gawked. "Your county." I flashed my ID. "Land Use Commissioner. Loved your cease and desist charming." The crowd stilled as we tagged the jungle gym, swings, snack stand, and porta potty with orange, unauthorized stickers. Caroline rallied. "They're overreaching." A voice interrupted. "You said this was HOA land, permitted." Her jaw slackened. I addressed the onlookers. "No permits, no inspections. Your president used your dues for an illegal build on my property. That's fraud." Silence landed HVYLY. Caroline clutched her clipboard, shrieking about misunderstandings, but convoy tie-in waned. Parents murmured, "No permits? My fees." Inspectors flagged hazards, unanchored frames, faulty wiring, and illegal water tap municipal offenses. "Harassment," she spat. "Overkill is building this after I warned you," I replied, consulting my notes. "Complained to my supervisor, me names on file." She wilted. Citations mounted, fines, environmental penalties, thousands in damages. Ellen Carter, a reserved resident, inquired about a hearing on fund misuse. "Yes," I said. "The DA will investigate fraud." Murmurs grew. Neighbors compared dues, uncovering Caroline's unapproved due law 48,000 enhancement spike. That night, I sipped wine, adrenaline ebbing. I recused myself, passing the case to a colleague, but observed the aftermath. At an emergency HOA meeting, Caroline floundered, touting progress over rules. "Legal ad VYC," someone pressed. She faltered. Groans erupted. "Community vote?" "Board approved." "No, we didn't," barked Tom Grayson, a retiree. A unanimous vote ousted her. She hurled her clipboard and stormed out, its clatter outlasting her tenure. Neighbors thanked me. An elderly man shook my hand. Years trying to oust her took a jungle gym. I smirked. Sometimes it's the perfect folly. The next day, the interim president apologized, offering restitution. I demanded full removal and restoration first, billing for tree and soil damage. Contractors dismantled the playground's wings, slide, mulch vanishing quietly. I sued the HOA for encroachment, armed with photos, reports, and confessions. They settled. Restoration, damages, dues refunded. I auctioned the scrap stables to a school, dome to a church, swings to a camp, lawful repurposing. Caroline disappeared, but not before writing herself miscellaneous checks. Prosecutors intervened. At my restored lot, I attended an open HOA meeting, shouting, "Just votes on traffic signs." They sought my ad VYC. I declined, offering guidance to avoid repeats. My land recover grass, trees, a sign, private property. Unauthorized playgrounds will be removed. Caroline attempted a sympathy email blast. Residents retorted with dues hikes and deceit. Her name was erased from HOA records, her home listed discreetly. Fines and disgrace drove her away. A retired couple bought it, Keeping low. I built a permitted gazebo, hosted friends by a fire pit, tranquility restored. At a picnic, a banner thanked those who'd opposed Caroline. Build more, they jested. Just flowers, I replied. Laughter echoed as I tossed scraps into a bin labeled Caroline's Playground, a final barb. She was gone, rules prevailed, and my land was mine again.